Welcome to another Kings of War battle report. Game night, Undead versus Kingdoms of Men. 2,000 points. The scenario was loot. First of all, we have my friend Robbie Laney's list. He is playing Undead. He's got a lot of cool models that he has been saving up over the years to start a new Undead army. So right now he's using my army, so that's really cool because it gives me a opportunity to showcase my figures as well. So he starts off with a legion of zombies with the scrying gem and the rats, a horde of revenants with the rats, a horde of ghouls, a regiment of wraiths, a regiment of soul reaver infantry with the blessing of the gods, a regiment of soul reaver cavalry with the potion of the caterpillar, a horde of zombie trolls, a vampire lord on the dragon with crushing and heal 4, 2 necromancers, one with a tome of darkness and one with the conjurer's staff. Also, one had the zombie aura. This is my 2K version of the Samuel Nordberg list from the Dash 28 article. So to start off, I have 4 regiments of pikes, then 3 troops of fanatics, 1 horde of polearms with indomitable will, 1 horde of foot guard with indomitable will, 2 generals on winged beast, trickster swan and blade of slashing, an ASB with the loot, a hero with a horse and indomitable will, and 2 heroes on Pegasus with indomitable will. So we had 15 drops and 27 unit strength, and just a nice pared down version of a really effective list that's at the 21 and 50 and 2300 point level. So I've had 3 games in a row with that stupid ass scrying gem. And 2 of the last 3, they've rolled maximum numbers on the scrying gem. So that's very irritating. The thing is about it, it's really good for the deployment part of the game, but it doesn't help you in the long run because I still have, in this case, I would have 4 more units than he has to maneuver with. So it does help on the initial end, but in the long run, it doesn't do a thing. So anyway, I had to deploy 2 units. I think I deployed 2 units of, maybe 3 units, 2 units of pikes and 2 units of fanatics down. And then, but I was going to deploy them there anyway, so it doesn't really change what I was going to do. My plan this game was to take the 2 tokens on the right-hand side and ignore the one. Robbie had put the other token way off to the right-hand side, or his right-hand side, my far left. And I wanted nothing to do with that one. So I just decided I'm going to go for the middle and the right and not worry about the one on the left except to slow him down from getting it so he can't just run over there and get it and then start headed toward the middle. So that was the plan. My deployment was, I actually bookended. I had a Griffin and the Griffin here with a Trickster Swan and a Pegasus on this end, a unit of foot guard on top of the hill. They were ready to pounce on that first objective. And then all the way down the middle, it's just pikemen, fanatics, pikemen, fanatics, pikemen, fanatics, pikemen, fanatics, all the way down with the ASB in the middle. And then finally, in the very end, I had the polearm horde. And then on the other end is, again, the other side of the bookend, a Pegasus and another Griffin. This one just had the blade of slashing. So my army, even though I was spread all the way across the table, was actually fairly concise as far as getting to the objectives because there's kind of a space on the far end. If he left that objective open, I was going to fly up there and get it with one of those 2 flyers. But if he didn't, I'm just going to try to hold him up as best I can by jumping over him and getting behind him. On the left end of the line, he put 2 very effective units of infantry, the Soul Reaver infantry and the Revenant horde. And their goal, I think, was to move and try to take the token that you see, the red one right in front of the foreground, try to take it from me very quickly and to get it and then try to punish my infantry units as they came forward. The next unit was the Regiment of Wraiths, and then finally the Zombie Legion, and then off to the right of the Zombie Legion were the zombie trolls. And then on the hill was the horde of ghouls, and the far end unit was the Soul Reaver cavalry, and they were facing off against my 2 flyers on that end. So I won the roll for the turn and got to give it to Robbie. so that he could try his new army out and try to figure out what to do. I mean, I had an idea of what to do if it was my turn one. I was going to flash the two flyers on this right-hand side all the way up and then turn and aim down his line and try to bend him. But instantly, because he saw that I was going to do that, he went ahead and bent his Soul Reaver infantry back toward the his left side, and then also the Revenants also angled in that direction as well. Everything else moved up on line. Even the Dragon moved up. The On the very end over there, the Soul Reaver cavalry got were just out of range of my charge of those two units. I don't know if I would have charged them on that early in the game. I mean, you had had 10 attacks, 3s, anything but a 1. It might have been worth it, But then there's so many swings coming back from those guys that hit on 3s and elite, and oh my God, you don't want to just mess with them in a casual way. You want to hit them in the flank or rear or do something like that because they are just wicked mean. So if you've seen how I've played this Nordberg list the last few times, it's kind of patiently aggressive. So I did go ahead and move the General on Winged Beast on the far right here all the way up as far as I could. And then the Pegasus I moved and angled toward the Necromancer. So if he let him go or if he surged something forward, I was be able to pounce on him. The the hero on a horse just moved forward. And I thought, there's no way in hell he will charge him. I mean, it just seems silly this early in the game because, my goal was I was going to shoot the gap between those two units and go after those Necromancers as quick as I can. The Foot Guard moved off the hill and went down and got within an inch of the loot counter. The pikemen moved up to support them. They got to the edge of the woods. They marched up and just stopped. Everything else just went 5 inches forward. Over on the left flank, I was a little more cautious because I didn't want the polearms to get charged by the ghouls. The ghouls are a good counter to the polearm unit because of, they're a pretty even swap as far as amount of damage they're going to do to each other. It's going to be instead of it being a slap fight, it's just going to be a glass hammer fight. The Griffin moved up in range to charge his Soul Reaver Cav. But I was just really playing with him because I had no intention of charging him. I should have probably moved the Pegasus off to one side instantly to start angling toward the middle and doing something else. But I thought it was more intimidating leaving both of them there. So Robbie vacillated a little bit whether he should take advantage of what I did to his hero with my guys. And so his Soul Reaver infantry went ahead and charged the hapless Pegasus. There's no way he was going to live. But on the other hand, I realized that my Foot Guard was going to take revenge upon him. But I just didn't think he would take the bait on turn 2. Same thing with the hero on horse. They went ahead and charged him. Because of the way that I was sitting, he was going to have to be hindered from his unit of Revenants there. And also that opened his flank up to charges from Fanatics and from Pikemen. So, like I said, I didn't think he would take the bait on the first turn, and I think he had a solid plan though on what he wanted to do. I think he could kill the hero on the horse and then overrun, and then he would kill the Pegasus, which he obviously would do, and then turn toward the Foot Guard and be able to defend himself from there. So the Pegasus died, but all he could do is really turn toward the Foot Guard. And the Foot Guard are a very effective unit, but his Soul Reaver infantry are also a very effective unit. So this is going to be a good battle between these two. Now over here, the hero on a horse had taken 3 wounds, but he survived and popped his Indomitable Will, even though he was wavered, and now he was ready to go. Maybe he didn't pop it then. Maybe he popped it later. But he was ready to go for the fight. So he countercharged along with the unit of Pikes charged, a unit of Fanatics charged in the front. And I also rolled high on my wild charge and charged one in the flank. And the part of the deal was I wanted to charge so that when I did the flank charge, I wouldn't be hindered. So I needed those other guys to kind of overlap a little bit. But the General on Winged Beast also caught the edge of their flank and hit them. So this is a pretty nasty quadruple charge, which is kind of rare in this game. And we'll just have to see what happens after this. So the rest of my army just moved up to support the charges. I know that I was going to catch some flank charges out of uh, of what I did to his army, but I was trying to get in position to be able to counter any moves that he made. And pretty much any unit of pikemen is a good match for any of his regiments or hordes. So if I could get one pikeman unit into each one because of their ability to tar pit, they were very, very strong and it had the ability to stop his army. So that was the goal. I mean, the zombies, even though they get an enormous amount of attacks, they're going to be hitting on sixes most of the time against my pikemen. So I really felt that my foot guard rolled really poorly, but still ended up with a waiver on the Soul Reaver infantry, which was thank goodness, because those guys, whenever they decide to swing at something, they kill it. And then this massive four-way multi-charge, all it resulted in is 22 points of damage, which should have killed them. And then I rolled Snake Eyes. And so early in the game, I had a tragic outcome with the most hated rule in this game, as far as I'm concerned. For once, I didn't get upset. I just said, okay, now I have to deal with it. But this is a classic, and I thought maybe that I didn't need to charge with as many units as I did. But those guys are armor 5, and the pikemen aren't going to do anything to them, and the hindered guys in the front weren't going to do anything to them. So it was basically up to the general on Winged Beast and the flank charge from the fanatics to do the most damage, and they did. I mean, they were the most significant damage producers. But in the end, I did 22. That should be enough there. I mean, I know the morale is 24, so I had a very good opportunity to take them out. But again, just a bad dice roll. What can you do? I mean, that means whatever unit was going to, I mean, my goal was to hopefully have a charge and then turn stuff toward those wraiths and things like that, but it just didn't happen. So, of course, it started a cavalcade of fallout from rolling that Snake Eyes with my units set in all weird directions. So, yes, the wraiths went ahead and charged into the flank of one of my units of fanatics. The Revenants countercharged the general on Winged Beast, hoping to ground him. Everything else kind of ignored. At least the Soul Reavers were wavered and couldn't do anything about it because they literally could take that horde out by themselves if they don't have, if they rolled decent dice, they could literally take that horde out by itself. The nice thing is my general is right there to give them some leadership points. As you can see, the dragon has decided he needs to snake into this fight here, which is not good for me. Over on the left, and I'll show you another picture, the Zombie Legion went ahead and charged one of my units of pikes. All right, you can see the Zombie Legion has charged into the unit of pikemen. All those swings got him 3 wounds. I mean, that's a lot of swings. But he rolled an 11 and wavered me. Over next to him, and I got a better picture of this in a second, he had surged his trolls into another unit of pikemen that's there behind the wood. So they're hindered and then they're ensnared. That's never a good combo for something that hits on 4s. And so they did 3 wounds and rolled another waver. And over there on the general on Winged Beast, he's a pretty tough dude, and he has no crushing in that army, into that unit. He comes up, he does 3 wounds to him. He rolled his 3rd 11 in a damned row, and wavered him. It was just, I was stunned. After the Snake Eyes and then now 3 11s in a row, I truly thought that the dice gods had decided that I was going to lose this game no matter what I did. You can see here we're still at an impasse on the extreme left side of the line. If he got any closer to me, I was either going to charge him or jump him. And so that's kind of why we're in a standoff over there. The polearms are just out of the potential range of the ghouls right now anyway. You can see the trolls have... the thing about the trolls is they end up exposing their flank to the unit of pikemen that's there. And the unit of fanatics can charge them in the front without being hindered because they'll be clear of the woods. So that's going to be nice. But it's just tragic that that unit got wavered. I mean, I'd be able to take them out a little sooner if I would have, had an unwavered unit of pikemen. You really can't count on pikemen to do a lot of damage. I'm thinking that if I really wanted to count on pikemen to do damage, that I would put something else in this army with Bane Chant to help them out. Otherwise, you just have to take what you get. I mean, they're going to hit on 4s, they'll wound on 4s on most things. In this case, hit on 4s and wound on 5s. So you just take what you get with pikemen. But their main job is to hold stuff up until something can come and rescue them. Yeah, the flank charge made short work of the fanatics, but because the Legion is so big, he really couldn't move forward afterwards because his base is right up against the base of the Legion. So best thing he could have done maybe was formation change or something, but he's in a good position right here because I can't reach him with anything but fanatics, and hindered fanatics into that unit are probably not going to do very much damage. All right, so over here on this flank, the hero on horse, he disengaged, made basically like a 45-degree turn to the right to get around this unit of revenants, and then charged the dragon and grounded him. So that was a good thing. I went ahead and backed up the general on winged beast. Probably didn't need to in retrospect, but I didn't know for sure if I was going to ground that dragon or not, and I'd rather have the dragon fighting way over there, so maybe I could charge him with something else. That was my thought anyway. The pikemen charged the very wounded revenants in the flank, and the fanatics charged them in the rear. They were hindered, but it was going to be such a number of attacks, and I only needed like 2 wounds. And so this time the foot guard were countercharged back into the Soul Reavers, and I think they killed them, but we'll have to look at the next picture. So over here on this flank, the fanatics charged the trolls in the front, and the pikemen charged them in the flank. Of course, the guys in the front couldn't countercharge. I went ahead and backed up the unit of pikemen that's in front of the zombies for whatever reason. It was kind of neat, though, that the fact that the zombie base was so big that when he aligned, he couldn't charge into that troll melee because when he aligned, he was going to touch my unit, so he would have had to charge the one on the right again. Over on the very far left, I went ahead and broke the Pegasus loose from the jumping behind the line thing. I've decided that wasn't being productive. So I angled him for a big fly up into the middle and maybe get rid of one of them damn necromancers who were starting to really annoy me this game. Should have done that sooner. Don't know why I didn't. I mean, I could have just come over here to the middle in one turn and turned back to the other side of the trees and just shot straight across the trees and got them on turn 2 probably. But I was really scared of those knights that were over there, and thought I needed to keep them there just in case I needed to chaff them for a turn. So yeah, over on the right flank, these Soul Reavers did bite it this turn, and the Revenants as well. The pikemen just continued. I moved to die 6, so hopefully I could catch that dragon. One thing about pikemen and dragons is that pikemen will hold up dragons literally forever, just because of the hinder and snare and all that crap that they can do to them. The fanatics did turn around toward where his wraiths were. I'm sorry, wraiths were, and all of a sudden they're not there because he had surged them into the flank of my unit of foot guard down here on the right. You can see their base, just the corner of it. Hopefully I'll have a better picture of that. But then the zombie Legion charged back into the wounded unit of pikemen, got them up to 6 wounds, but this time did not waver them. Over in the middle there, the trolls went ahead and killed the fanatics because they were the easiest thing to kill. I mean, they're not hitting them on 5s. So, but next turn, there's going to be, 45 attacks going into them, and hopefully the trolls' day will be over. So with the turning of the Pegasus, the Knights decided it was time to play, and so they moved forward boldly, hoping to get me to charge with the General on Winged Beast. What I was really scared to get charged from is the ghouls charging into the flank or rear of my pikeman unit there in the woods, but I don't know if there was enough room, and they may have been arc, and maybe that's why it didn't matter, because you can see the way the tray's moving, and 45 degrees is probably out of their charge arc. So I'm hoping it was anyway. Yeah, honestly, did not see this charge coming from those guys because they were pretty far away. But they were able to move into the woods and then turn, and then he had both magic users there to throw surge, and they got to my flank. The good thing is they were hindered because they came through the woods, and so it was only 5 wounds to my unit, and hopefully that means that those suckers are going to be in trouble next turn because, I mean, I know they're armor 6 and everything, but you can see the general on Winged Beast is also primed to charge into them as well. Yeah, so the general on Winged Beast and the unit of the horde of Foot Guard charged into the race there, and I think I also had Bane Chant on them, so they were able to one-shot that unit and get rid of it. So which was good because those armor 6 units, they would be. He's over here fighting the guys that. If I said you want to make a mistake, is you don't go over and fight the guys that can actually hurt you. If he'd have been over there fighting pikemen or something like that, they weren't going to do any damage to those units, and they could have held me up forever. But in this case, he came over to the side of the table where the 2 units that could wipe them out were stationed, and I was able to do so. And I have a token as under him. You could barely see it, a little bit of red flash under there. All right, here in the middle, the Fanatics did go ahead and charge into the flank of the Zombie Legion. They were hindered because you can see their bases in the woods right there. The pikemen charged into the flank of the Trolls and in the front of the Trolls. The other thing you can see finally is the Pegasus making his appearance up there next to that Necromancer. The other Necromancer had wandered too close to the unit of pikemen that had killed the Revenants, and now it was under siege by a whole bunch of swings from them. So this turn, the zombie trolls bit it. I went ahead and moved the polearms up. I know that the ghouls can charge me, but the problem was I was afraid that the Soul Reavers could charge me, and right there I am just out of their line of sight. So I was ready to sacrifice that unit, but you can see I also popped the General on Winged Beast behind the ghouls. So if they did charge and they didn't break me, then he was going to be able to come in there and clean them up. So yeah, the General on Winged Beast, he overran into the woods, and now he could see the flank of the Zombie Legion. The Foot Guard just turned toward the dragon. They had the token. I didn't really need them in a fight anywhere. I just needed them to not die now. I mean, they've got 5 wounds. The ASB is standing next to them. Pretty high chance that they won't. But I just can't take that chance right now since he's in charge. He actually has 2 of the tokens and is winning the game right this moment. And now you can see the shot of the pikeman attacking the Necromancer. He was ready to roll Snake Eyes, and I said, no. I said, you don't understand. Rolling on force to hit and force to wound, you don't do a lot of damage. And I didn't. I rolled 3 wounds, which, of course, disordered him, but didn't really do anything else to him. The lucky thing to happen was the turn before is his dragon had swung at the hero, the lone hero, and snake-eyed him. And so that was Robbie's snake eyes of the game and really affected the rest of the game, just like mine affected the start of the game, because now he's stuck again with his dragon, and I really can't do anything except kill that guy and then get out of the way and come after me somewhere else. But he was stuck in front of that guy. I just can't believe how good that guy worked. I mean, how well that guy worked, because he held the charge of a whole Revenant horde by himself and lived to tell about it. Then he goes up and nimbles out of the fight and goes up there and grounds the dragon for 2 turns, which is just crazy good. Okay, guys, this is the biggest multi-charge I have ever done. 2 units of pikes into a flank. Okay, the ones with the flag are hindered, and we know that because they had to go through the edge of the woods. But the ones down here at the bottom are not. Then the unit that's wounded, unit of pikemen's in the front, goes into the front. The General on Winged Beast charges through the woods. Yes, he's hindered. And then the last hero on the Pegasus, because the Necromancer didn't want to die for some reason, I went ahead and charged them in the rear because he's going to get 9 swings. So that is a pretty potent amount of attacks going in. I think I counted up as 97 attacks going into that Zombie Legion. And as you know, zombies basically have no defense. So A hit is essentially a kill on a unit on something like that. So, yeah, this is a crazy amount of attack. It's just insane. So yeah, the ghouls had went ahead and charged into the pole arms, doing 10 wounds. Uh, but my plan had worked, and so I was able to charge the general on winged beast into the rear. Pole arms are kind of one of those units that are really good sometimes, especially if they get the charge in, and they've really good matchups. Ghouls are not a good matchup for pole arms because of the sheer number of swings that they have, and so that wasn't good. I took 10 from their charge, but my counter charge I rolled really well. I did like 14 wounds back with the pole arms, and then the general just went off, and I was up over. They were on snake eyes almost instantly with this combo attack. So after that, I just turned the pole arms to the left toward the Soul Reavers. I either backed up the general to catch a flank just in case they bounced off of them, which was not going to happen. I mean, they were going to wipe the floor with that unit. So, but you had to be thinking about it, because I started thinking about turn 7, because I lost my last game on a turn 7. So I am very wary about playing the game all the way to the end. Do not get haphazard on turn 6 when there's a possibility of turn 7. All right, this is probably the stupidest movement phase you've ever seen. He had managed to kill the hero on the horse and started moving toward, because he had one shot at winning this game. He could charge into that unit of foot guard, and I couldn't really do anything about it. So as far as being able to stop, to charge him or block him in any way, shape, or form. So what I did was, since I had the final turn, is I moved everything around him so that if he happened to kill them, which is, I know, it's not a high chance. I mean, they're down 5, and their base is, I think they're 23 morale. So the odds of killing them aren't very high. But I did go ahead and move the general over there to give them inspiring, and they did have Indomitable Will on top of that. I probably could have just popped Indomitable Will, and then I would have been fearless that turn, and inspiring self, which I've never used that before, but I could have, and it made sense since there was only one turn left in the game. But you also see that I brought the Pegasus around. The general, if he just happened to break it, I still had one turn to kill his dragon and get it back. So that was the plan. But like I said, I've lost games. The last game I played, I lost on a turn 7. And I was not about to get sloppy at the end of this game. I was going to make sure that I held my objectives and could finally finish this game off. And yet another, why would you ever do that move? I went ahead and charged the General on Winged Beast into the Soul Reavers, because even if they killed him, the best they were going to get was a die 6 inches forward, which means they weren't going to be able to get. You see where my token is. The guys have 3 wounds. Pretty decent chance they would have survived if they would have got charged by him, but I didn't want to take any chances. And just backed them away, let the general go in there. I think I did 3 or 4 wounds, which is fine. I didn't expect to hurt him. But you know, the idea is that even if I die on the end of at the start of his turn 7, it doesn't matter. He won't be able to take advantage of me. So yeah, here come the dragon, and he comes in and does a solid 5 wounds to the brave great swords of Middenland, and bounced off of them. And so that was the end of the game, because I had their token, which is underneath their base, and I also had the token on my pikeman on the left. So that is a win for the Kingdoms of Men 2-1 in the loot scenario. You know, I really think that's the first time I'd ever beat an undead list, which is crazy. But I haven't played against them a lot either, because I'm the guy around here that owns the undead army. And so that, I guess that's why that I don't play against them very much, except at tournaments. The Nordberg list, I really thought it went well. I'm not sure about the 2 Pegasus versus the 3 Griffins, because they're the same points. The thing is I would lose a point of unit strength and a drop by going to that, which gets me to 14, but I mean, still 26 unit strength, so not that bad, not that big a change to the list. The really thing that really kind of was strange this game was how much fighting that the pikemen had to do. And normally they're just a sacrificial unit, and it really would have helped to have another Bane Chanter in the list. But at 2,000 points, you just got to make choices. And I really think that the best choice is to keep the the flyers in the list because they are so strong as far as making the other person move. Can't say enough about the pikemen. They all 4 units survived the game. The Fanatics did a incredible job. Yeah, they die, but usually they're almost like a shooting attack. They come in, they do a lot of damage quick, and then they die. So, but the nice thing is they don't get wavered and mess up your lines and stuff. What can you say about the hero on a horse? Are you kidding me? Stops a horde attack by himself, then later on disengages, goes and drops grounds a dragon for 2 turns by himself. Finally dies to the dragon, but then the dragon is so far out of the game that he really couldn't do anything until on turn 7 it finally got in a charge. So essentially he that one guy negated almost a third of Robbie's army, which is just stupid good. The Foot Guard did what Foot Guard do when somebody attacks them. Foot Guard, one of the things about it is that they really are. This army is designed to be charged in many ways, and the deal is you selectively let things charge your Foot Guard, because if they're going to get in there and they're not going to wipe them out, say they're going to do 5 or 6 wounds, when you turn around to swing, especially if you've done the right thing and have your ASB with a loot there to get the Bane Chant, they just wipe out whatever they hit. There's just so many swings hitting on 3s and with crushing 2 with the if the ASB's around, they're phenomenal. I mean, we went right through, and the same thing applies, is having that extra general on Winged Beast just floating around. Hey, this unit needs to die this turn. The general goes in, the Foot Guard goes in, units die. That's just the way it works. Early in the game, rolling that Snake Eyes, yeah, that cost me 3 of my units just because I was in such wonky position. Normally, I don't make that kind of multi-charges because I try to kind of calculate where I need to be. The problem is Revenants are armor 5, and most of my attacks didn't have crushing, so I had to throw as much in there as I can. I didn't need them to live, so I mean it was either one of those choices: go in there and try to kill them, and then the other risk was Snake Eyes. Well, I got the Snake Eyes risk, so too bad for me. But it did open up the game quite a bit over on this flank, on this right flank here. Because of I lost, like I say, instantly lost a couple of units. Then I lost then his flyers were able to get in and flank charge my Foot Guard late in the game because those units were missing because of that rolling that Snake Eyes and losing those valuable units. The Zombie Legion that Robbie had, it took a lot of killing, but I think that's the most attacks I've ever rolled against a unit since I've played this game. I mean, 2 flanks, a front, and a rear charge all at the same time. That is insane. But that's what it takes to kill those units that have all those that high nerve and stuff, is you really got to put the whammy on them. And that's what happened over there. Over on the left flank this game, the Pegasus and the Griffin, they held his knights at bay the whole game because, I mean, like I said, as soon as he got close, I could either charge him or jump him. And as soon as I jumped him, I'd be behind his army. And so it was kind of a standoff the whole game. And finally, I broke it by moving the Pegasus over to the middle of the table to mess with his magic users, which I should have done a turn and a half, 2 turns. I mean, I should have done it 2 turns. I should have done the first turn, just moved instantly over toward that side of the table. But I did not do that. And my Pegasus, the other Pegasus I had on this right side, he really unexpectedly, I didn't really expect him to charge, to fall into my trap with the Soul Reaver infantry. I don't think he thought that my Foot Guard were as good as they were. And I went in there and I rolled subpar, but still wavered them. And the next turn I killed him. And so that was big. The Revenants got in there, and because they bounced off that hero, then they were hosed, because then I got flank charges on them, multiple front charges, and I got rid of the Revenant units. So probably in an area with maybe with a little bit less restrictive terrain, the Undead would have probably done just a little bit better. But I thought most of the game hindered myself. I mean, it's just all I could do, because it kind of met the battle. It was like right on the edge of all these woods, and I just kept taking hindered charges and hindered moves. There's nothing you can do about it if you're playing that tight. I probably could have had Potion of the Caterpillar, and he did have Potion of the Caterpillar, but it was on his knights, who were over there in the absolutely clear terrain. So maybe the thing would have been for him is to mass all the Soul Reapers on one flank. And then the other thing I really think is that he could have benefited from the ghouls not being a horde. I really like ghouls. Ghouls are one of my favorite units in the Undead Army. But I really like them in regiments just because they're just got this little ability to sneak out there and do quick flank charges and corkscrews and stuff like that. And I just think it makes them so valuable with the wild charge D3. But I like the Army. One thing that came up, and this is just my side, is 3 games in a row I have faced that stupid scrying gem. Now, the good thing about the scrying gem is it does help you in the deployment phase. Maybe you get your dragon in just the best place possible. It does not remedy the fact that the other guy's going to outdrop you by 3 or 4 units, which is what my army generally does. So it evens it out, but even with him rolling max, I still got the last drop in this game, and I'm starting to worry about. I wonder about the use of that item, where it's better to have another item that helps you kill stuff, or maybe throw those points toward another unit of something, even if it's a swarm, will help you out in the long run. Because, like I say, it's a temporary advantage, and it's cool. I mean, I understand how it works, but also, like I say, it doesn't overcome the fundamental flaw of army design when you've got 10 units and I've got 15. It helps you on the deployment, yeah, but I've still got 15. And in this case, my army usually has 3 to 4 flyers. So with the speed I have, I mean, instantly I'm erasing your advantage in the first turn because of my ability to maneuver somewhere else. But that's just my thoughts on the scrying gem. I just, maybe I'm bitching because I've had to face it 3 games in a row, and every one of them is basically rolled it. So maybe that's just, I just need to shut up and go on. But I hope you enjoyed the battle report. Robbie played a good game. I think he probably got too impatient at the beginning, charging over on my right flank, and that just kind of got him into a trap. The Snake Eye saved him for a while, but it wouldn't save him for very long because, I mean, I just had the position over there and the speed with my flying guys. So thank you, Robbie, for the game, and hopefully we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.